I learned this mnemonic acronym. It's actually hard for me to say, mnemonic acronym that was so perfect for this fourth precept of right speech and deep listening. So I want to share it with you. You may know this, but here it is. Think. Think. T. Is what I am about to say thoughtful? Is it honest? Is it important? Is it necessary? And is it kind? Think. That was like so perfect with what we're doing here. But I do want to talk about the other part of conversation, and that is listening. Usually, we're listening to our own opinions and searching for views and words that we agree with, and dismissing other perspectives and views that we don't share, we don't agree with. And I catch myself doing this all the time. Oh, I can listen to her because she is more like dot, 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 dot. Oh, no, don't want to listen to him. He's not enough like dot, 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 dot. You know, doing this all the time. We're doing it right now. And these are our attachments. I like it. Our aversions, don't like. And so much of our practice, such an important part of our practice, is simply becoming aware of how these preferences and aversions operate in us and how they can really limit us. Behind me is Kuan Yin, and she is the bodhisattva of compassion. It says that she listens to the cries of the world. And that's quite beautiful. She can listen to the shattered hearts and the hearts that are numb and the hearts that are closing right now, right in this very moment, and the hearts that are opening, all worthy of being listened to. The last time I talked about listening, it was when we were doing the Brahma Viharas, and I looked up the word listen. And the Old English word lisna means to hear, attend, to obey, pay attention, wait for a sound or signal. It's not just a passive activity, according to this definition. And I thought I had muted that. So, for you, what is the difference between listening and deep listening? We're taking a closer look at how we speak and how we listen. What is your relationship with listening? Can you think of someone or somewhere, sometime when you felt really listened to, where someone really listened to you? What feelings do you notice in this? We can feel the kindness of this, the care, maybe a sense of security, relief, vulnerability. And of course, we have the opposite experience. We have the experience when people couldn't listen to us or ignored us or didn't want to listen. And the feelings that arise in this experience, right? It doesn't feel good. It feels lonely. So here are some questions that I offer just that might help us reflect on listening. Who is it difficult for you to listen to? And what contributes to this? Who is it easy for you to listen to? And what contributes to this? What blocks clear listening? For me, it's often a sense of fear, or I perceive some kind of threat in some way, or I might be kind of anticipating, how am I going to respond to this? What am I going to say to this? Then I'm not really wholeheartedly listening. What supports clear listening? How can we become simply better listeners? Teacher, writer Krista Tippett, in an interview on generous listening, described it this way. She said, generous listening involves a kind of vulnerability, like a willingness to be surprised, to let go of assumptions and take in ambiguity. And meditation Dharma teacher Gregory Kramer talks about receptive listening in this way. He says receptive listening is not only about sound. All of our senses are being, all of our being listens. Listening is stillness and the vibrating of that stillness. And when stillness deepens, the me, presumed to be at the center of this experience, is decentered. I love that. I'm going to repeat it. So listen, the me, presumed to be at the center of this experience, is decentered. Here's the wider view. Receptive listening dissolves selfishness. Attention is not gathered around me and my needs. We set the intention to not interrupt. We set the intention to not push my agenda for what I would like to hear you say or what I think you should say. It has the quality of patience and suppleness. And it requires the listener to open and to be vulnerable to another's suffering. and distress. And it requires the listener to set the intention, the deliberate intention to ground ourselves, remember to breathe and settle and calm and open to the best of our ability without interrupting or correcting or offering our own interpretations unless asked. I'm going to share with you some of the questions and metaphors that Mark Nepo in 7,000 Ways to Listen wrote. And he wrote that book as he was losing his hearing. So we can listen to his reflections about how we listen. How do we listen to what lives below the name we give it? Can we hear the rain on the cobblestones? Can we listen like a hawk on a cliff, wings spread to the elements? Can we listen to the words that haven't been believed? Can we listen to the way the clouds receive light and let it through? He writes, deep listening requires letting go of our internal argument with the world. Before we can truly listen, we must exhaust ourselves of our assumptions. And truth, if we are ever to glimpse the world outside the stubborn certainty of our minds, we have to put down our ready answers to everything. And this necessitates an inner discipline so that I don't finish your sentence in my mind or search my storehouse of opinions for every rebuttal or defense of the world as I see it. Letting go of my internal argument with the world doesn't mean, what did he say? Letting go of my internal argument with the world means not pushing off of everything that comes my way. It requires my looking at you as a sudden fish that has surfaced from the deep. It requires bringing you water rather than any judgments or opinions. Thank you for listening.